and the minority, you should make concurrence on this business. Now, let me give the deputy minority leader. Deputy minority leader. Okay, let me give the deputy minority whip. Okay, Senator. As far as my hemispheres are correct, the deputy minority leader is none other than, he knows him, even he is looking at me very. Senator Enoch Wambua?
Yeah, that's better. Senator Enoch Wambua. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just a slight point of clarification as we support this this motion. That name that you read was the former deputy minority leader. Now, the person speaking is the deputy minority, deputy majority leader. The label is here. Mr. Speaker, I support the 7 names, and as my colleagues have said, Mr. Speaker, we all expect that this team will ensure that the decisions that we made in Naivasha during our midterm review, those decisions are followed to the letter. The Speaker, secondly, I have a problem with the moving of that motion, because that motion, the Speaker, was supposed to be moved by the majority leader, but it was moved by the minority leader. Mr. Speaker, you will realize that this is a decision that the Speaker must give direction on.
What is your
Mr. Speaker, when I rise on a point of order, you don't give me a chance. When other senators rise on a point of order, you give them a chance, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Speaker. Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwa heshima kuu, ningependa kupata ufafanuzi na maelezi. Ni lini kiongozi mwenzangu alijiapisha na kujipa mamlaka ya kujitangaza peupe ndani ya Senate kwamba yeye ni kiongozi na kiti chake kiko bure upande ule mwingine? Mheshimiwa Speaker, Wakenya wasiwe na tabia ya kunyakua uongozi kupitia mlango wa nyuma. Mheshimiwa Speaker, Mheshimiwa, hili ni jumba la Senate na koti liko kule nje. Mheshimiwa Speaker, hata nimevaa koti hapa. Mheshimiwa Speaker, nimevaa koti Mheshimiwa Speaker, na kuna koti lingine kule nje. Mheshimiwa Speaker, hoja ya nizamu, kwa sababu ni sheria, nataka maelezo. Ni maelezo viongozi. Sasa Speaker, naomba ueleze.
Honorable Senators, that matter was raised by Senator Okongo Mugeni, Senator from Nyamira County. And I gave guidance long time ago that absolutely there was no court matter, court ruling on the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. So anybody referring to the matter that I give guidance is out of order. So let us dispense the motion that we have so that we can proceed. Let Senate be under Senator Wambua. Let us. You know, who is giving the mic when I'm speaking, clerks? Who is giving you the mic? So, honorable senators, in my led communication that I made, I said categorically that we didn't need to be more organized. I applauded you for the way we carried ourselves during the 3rd session. This is the start of the 4th session, day 1. And we agreed on so many matters when we were in Naivasha. So therefore, senators want us really to start in the light footing. Let's dispense of this motion without any side issues, without matters that don't matter to the Senate, to us. Senator Mbua, can you conclude?
Speaker, you know, that's where I was going before I was interrupted by my colleague, my friend. Speaker, when senators seek clarification, we don't do it for ourselves. We do it for the people that we lead. We are not here because we brought ourselves here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there's some bit of confusion out there on this issue of the leadership in the House. And I know, Mr. Speaker, you have pronounced yourself on it. All the thing that I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, is that should have formed a part of the formal communication by the Speaker so that you settle the matters. Mr. Speaker, you will remember, and this is, I'm going to add now, this is what one thing you realize in this Senate, Mr. Speaker. This is the House where the Secretary General of the two largest political parties in the Azimio coalition sit. The Secretary General of ODM sits in the Senate. The Secretary General of Wiper sits in this Senate, Mr. Speaker. And the Deputy Party Leader of ODM sits in the Senate, Mr. Speaker. And when you see the leadership of Azimio, the entire leadership move to this side, Mr. Speaker, you have to take note. There must be something, really. I mean, take note, Mr. Speaker. Take note. Mr. Speaker, take note. And there is, but this is a very serious issue, Mr. Speaker. It is serious, Mr. Speaker, because look at the ones that are calling themselves majority. Where is their leadership? Where are the leaders? Where are they, Mr. Speaker? We only have the majority leader and the whip. Where are the rest, Mr. Speaker? We said we will be very serious this time around, Mr. Speaker, and this is a demonstration of seriousness. Mr. Speaker, guide this House on the matter of Standing Order 22 on who actually in this House is the majority and who is the minority. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Speaker, I have not spoken.
Senator Mwenda Gataya.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this very crucial motion. Honorable Speaker, can you protect me from some round consultations? Senator Hendy, please. Honorable Speaker, from the onset, Honorable Speaker, can you protect me, Senator Onyonka? This is not. We are not in a club. Can you please?
Senator Onyonka. Proceed.
You know, you cannot just make round calls when somebody is on the floor. It's you, and you are insist on the petition for that. No, Honorable Speaker, I want to support the risk from the onset. You know, Honorable Speaker, this is a very crucial committee, which is supposed to process very important business of this House. I have been able to comb through the list. You know, we are midway, we are midterm, we have been together for the last almost 12 years. We know each other. I've looked at the number of people that have been put into that list. I know all of them by name, by their competence. And I think, Honorable Speaker, this is the best team that the leadership has produced that is supposed to steer the business of this House to some great heights. But I would also request that we reconsider the request made by my neighbor, my brother, Senator Mungatana, that we are supposed to prioritize the business of this House, because we have quite a number of pending issues that are supposed to be processed, and we are not supposed maybe to give priority to a number of businesses that are generating from the National Assembly, for that matter. So, our Speaker, having been around for the last close to 2 years, the membership of this committee is competent, is equal to the task, and I hope, Honorable Speaker, we are going to have our businesses processed efficiently, and it's a team that I strongly support, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to also contribute. First, let me say that I have been privileged, Honorable Speaker, to serve on the SBC for 2 consecutive sessions. And despite some of the aspersions that have been cast, especially by Senator Mungatana, I think the report that was given in Naivasha of the midterm performance of this House is indicator to the work that has been put in by the SBC in ensuring that we process our business here. So, Honorable Speaker, I felt as part of the leadership of the majority coalition that we now need to give opportunity to other people to also experience this Senate Business Committee. And in fact, when members talk about that anxiety about the speed with which some of the business is moving, especially bills in this House, I don't think from our side there is somebody who is more passionate about the speed at which business is moving than Senator Crystal Asige. So I am hoping that with her in that committee, she will ensure that that which she has wished to see now happens under her guidance. Honorable Speaker, there is another issue that I need to raise as a leader in the House on the question of the speed with which we process bills here. It is also a question of dedication and quorum, presence of members on this floor. I remember at those meetings of the SBC, we have struggled, and the whips especially have felt the weight. Honorable Speaker, when you look at an order paper has almost 30 bills, and they keep recurring week after week. Honorable Speaker, we want to ask members that these last 2 years of the life of this Senate, people appear to process those bills, and especially the sponsors of the bills. Honorable Speaker, how many times have we had to drop bills because the sponsors were not in the House? So I also want to urge that whereas SBC can prioritize that business, we need the sponsors of the bills to be here, Honorable Speaker. Finally, Honorable Speaker, there's a matter that has been raised here, and I'm sure you've said you're going to give guidance, but also as members of the House and the leadership, we can also guide. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is very elaborate. It's very elaborate. You will see it starts out by defining what Parliament is, then separating the roles of the Senate and the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, it goes to be specific enough as to the roles of each of those houses, the matters that can be processed there, and the matters that cannot be processed there. On the question of which party is a majority party, there is absolutely no mention throughout the entire document of the Constitution of the Senate. In my view, it means that the leadership or the designation of a majority party is set in the National Assembly. And I will tell you why I think that, Honorable Speaker. Because it would be very absurd, Honorable Speaker, as SG of ODM, for my party to be the majority down there, and I'm in a minority here. Honorable Speaker, sometimes when you get communications from these coalitions, for instance, our membership of the PSC, there is only one person who writes those letters to you, and that is the Secretary General of Azimio. Honorable Speaker, would he write there in the National Assembly, he writes as a leader of a majority party, and here he writes as a leader of a minority party? These are some of the absurdities that I think would arise if we would not follow the designation. And by the way, Honorable Speaker, I want to be very clear that we in the majority coalition are going to ensure we enforce that court order, because we are believers in the rule of law. Once a court has pronounced itself, Senator Kalwale, you look for another seat. You don't insist on the one that you'll be told is not your seat. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, you cannot tell us, a member of the Senate cannot stand here and say, oh, the courts are out there and we are here. We exist in a constitutional order that the things that happen here have consequences outside, and that the process of checks and balances and oversight requires that other organs also look into the issues that are being done by this particular institution. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, we will not allow people to conflate issues. If Azimio is a majority party in the National Assembly, it follows that we are the majority in this House.
Just a minute,
I thank you, Honorable
Senator
Speaker.
Sifuna, Senator Mgatana. Just a minute, Senator Mgatana. Senator Mgatana, just a minute. You know, in the 8th, 9th Parliament, you used to stand and wave to get to catch the Speaker's eye. Now we went digital. You can just press intervention and I'll see. But what is your point of honor? Give him the mic.
Mr. Speaker, when we are addressing the nation from the floor of this House, we must bear in mind that we take responsibility for the statements that we make. Surely, Mr. Speaker, can it be true that what is pronounced as the leadership arrangement in the National Assembly should automatically hold for the Senate. Mr. Speaker, that cannot be true. Mr. Speaker, in fact, it is the absurdity of nature, at the highest absurdity, that we can go into an election, a political party wins the Senate majority, and another one wins the National Assembly majority, and by dint of the National Assembly majority, then the leadership is determined in the Senate. This is what my learned friend, Mr. Sifuna, is saying. Mr. Speaker, that cannot be correct. That is not right, and Kenyans listening to us must know that that is not the correct position. Mr. Speaker, that cannot be right. Mr. Speaker, I wish to be heard, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can I be protected? Mr. Speaker, can I be protected?
Senator Mungatana,
yes.
Your point of order is okay, has been captured.
Yes.
Let Senator Sifuna conclude his contribution.
I don't know what exactly is out of order. I made a statement of fact that if you turn this constitution page to page, there is no place where it talks about designation of the majority party anywhere other than in the National Assembly. That is Article 108. That is a fact. If Senator Mungatana has another copy of the Constitution, maybe in his native Pokomo language, he can show us where it speaks about designation of a majority party in the Senate.
Senator Milanj Abdulrahman.